Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another DCUO breakdown video. I'm of course Trex, and we're going to be talking about the Stats Revamp. Now, as of this recording, which is December 14th as I'm recording this, the test server is down. It has not come back up yet. They have decided to remove the Stats Revamp testing from the test server because the first weekend that just happened, they've gotten a lot of feedback, and they want to go ahead and make some changes pertaining to the feedback that was given. The cooldowns being shortened, some bugs being fixed, like the Lex mission, just random stuff to make everything feel a little better with the powers that were tested. I only really have all my feedback for anything would be coming from electricity as I'm going over all of my VOD, which is like about 10 hours worth. So I cannot comment on what the changes for ice or the changes for mental. You can, of course, I could of course read what's on the forums about the feedback, but I really don't want to comment on any of that because I don't have a first hand on it. With electricity, some of the increased cooldowns were kind of bad, but at the same time, I didn't really get a chance to experience a lot of it in alert settings, where it was actually in group settings, because I was only really leveling, and I didn't get as far as I really wanted to before the test servers went down. But in this video, there was a lot of information that came from Avar pertaining to the philosophy and all that good stuff with the stats revamp and what it means. So that's what I'm going to try and do, is help everybody figure out what exactly the stats revamp is doing, pertaining to how Avar posted it. Because there were a little bit of confusion. There was, but I'm here to help you fix it, answer any questions that you may have in the comments. I'll try my best. One of the things that I'm hearing now is that we didn't want this. All we really wanted from the stats revamp was the advanced mechanic damage, the weapon mastery damage removed, CR differential removed. That's what they told us was going to happen, and that's what we expected. But all of a sudden now we have all these other changes going about, where I can't even really say the cooldowns, because the cooldowns are already being fixed, because not many people liked it. I think that was probably just an error on their part, just to see how it would go. But I mean, there's a lot of changes that I'm about to talk about that we, as players, did not expect, and these are changes at the same time that we didn't want nor we asked for. Well, in terms of removing a system like advanced mechanics, it's like, well, we just can't simply roll back. So if we're removing something, it's going to be replaced. That's how I see it. Of course, everyone probably sees it completely different, because everybody expected we would just go back pre-36, but apparently not. Why are we going to go back in time where we can just kind of just keep moving forward? But information here in this thread that you're about to see, and the information I'm about to share to break it down for you guys, will show that moving forward as we are with these new changes that, yes, we did not expect, but yes, we're going to take them, is going to build towards a better game, because we all agree that the coding in the game was very limited. It was just limited, but now with the changes that we're doing, we're breaking the foundation and bringing something new, and we're moving forward with it. So let's go ahead and jump right into it for the philosophy part. So this was a post made by Avar, our new lead systems designer. Really good, really cool dude. So first things first, building the foundation. All right, so they're building a foundation to grow upon. So the stats revamp is really just the beginning to adding new and awesome new things. Now, the current build of the game does not allow much growth. It's not going to add anything more. So now we all agree that there has been confusion on certain things, especially in the realm of advanced mechanics, where it really wasn't relayed well in-game, aka folks can't read, or folks not really going to the forums or researching on YouTube or fan sites and whatnot to really learn it, aka folks can't learn. So in that sense, they removed a lot of the confusion that will hopefully help the players. To us vets, we really could argue that they're quote-unquote dumbing down the game. And I've made the same argument over changes really in WoW. But in the end, it gets everyone new and old on the same page. Okay, so I just talked about that feeling of dumbing down. Well, here they're going to be simplifying to make abilities, skills, etc. more understandable to the masses while keeping the complexity of how they work with one another. Now, a lot of people were talking about how dots were removed from electricity, and dots will be missed, but it's something else is coming in to really bring it more in line with other powers. I'm not sure how nature's going to really work out. That's kind of a toss-up at this point. But all I can really say at this point is we're going to miss the dots from electric, but we just have to see how it plays out now and push forward. So now here comes creating these meaningful choices. All right, so now we come to creating choices. Everyone, and I mean forumites and some players in game, never a majority, feel advanced mechanics held us down and brought the cookie cutter builds and no sense of individual self as a player with their own loadout. Now you'll have your own choices on how to play your character. One of the ways this is done is having the chance to choose from any of your power abilities now that we have access to all of them. So now, of course, someone will find the be-all, end-all of loadouts, and the cookie cutters will come out copying that loadout because that will be the be-all, end-all. That's just the nature of the beast, but remember, it's a choice. It's always a choice. So now we come in here to the changes. So this is where we talk about the simplification of some of the systems. All right, so there's a lot of systems here, so jumping in. It was said in the initial live stream about these changes. Power trees are gone and given a new UI. No more power points, and all the powers will be gained as you level up, or if you're level 30 already, like when it hits live, we'll have those powers all given to us. So really expect to redo your loadouts. Expect it. They also upgraded the notifications on dodge, block, breakout, and the roll buffs, which you'll find this new information for dodge, block, and breakout in the new UI for powers if you just scroll up, and it's right above the level 1 section. Skill points. Skill points have been moved around and upgraded. I mean, we saw this new UI as well. The innate stats are now removed from the weapon trees and sit in their own UI. The weapon trees have been reorganized, and the stats have added tooltips to show the scaling for them. The more you put into a stat, the more it increases, and you will see that increase increment in the tooltip. That's actually really big. I really like that. Now for the ability tooltips, right, for your power abilities, these have been updated and simplified. They have new tags that have been brought in to explain what they do and what benefit they provide. Looking at the tooltip during testing, a few things could be made clearer for me, but for now, I mean, it's okay. Certain things are really missing. I think there's some things like mental and ice had questions with. I think I had a few in electric that I can't think off the top of my head. But the brackets that you see there for the tooltip would be if it says supercharge. Now that's what it was. The supercharge only says supercharge. It didn't say if it was a 25, 50, or 100. It just said supercharge. So it was missing that actual key information because we need to know how much supercharge it was going to use. All right, so next for the supercharge update. Supercharge has got adjustments with more of them coming in the future. So this is your foundation. We're building a foundation to build upon. This update allows the player to gain supercharge much faster, and now every ability used will generate supercharge. They added a new feature called Supercharge Generator, which is basically an old ability just reworked to fit this new feature. The generator will allow faster supercharge generation and is a spot-on and it takes a spot on your loadout for those who want to use supercharges to get them faster. So your weapon attacks and your abilities will generate your supercharge like normal. We've all seen this, but they've really worked it where you can put a supercharge ability in your loadout, and if you really want to constantly use it within like your rotation, you'll want to use your supercharge generator. So yes, that does take 2 spots in your loadout, but depending on if you want to use the supercharges all the time in a regular rotation, you'll want to use it. But using supercharges is a choice. You don't have to use them if you don't want to. There's other ways to do the damage, which we'll get into later. But we remember, I haven't seen anyone any DPS really use their supercharge. Some of the players in Hardlight, they use strafing runs. Some do, some don't. It's a choice for them as a player. For fire, I remember in DPS, I like to use volcanic. I use the volcano move. I think it's called volcanic eruption. I like using that one. But in DPS, it's like, why are you even gonna matter now in the world of AMs? Because I'll just spam fire burst and call it a day. So they're bringing superchargers back into the fold of loadouts for players to use. Now, for the power regeneration, I've done a quick video on the power regeneration update, but I'll brush over it once again for people who didn't watch it, because, you guys are mean like that. I don't know why you didn't watch it. So, for the power regen update, it's been changed. It's been changed so weapon attacks give power back by a percentage of your max power pool, and the amount given depends on the length of the animation. The longer the animation, the more power you get. As an example, in the video for the power regen update, I was doing weapon taps with my hand blaster. Those gave, I think, maybe 12 or 21. I can't remember the number, but I think it was maybe 12. It was giving me, no, I'll say 21. It was giving me 21 at 12. It was 12, 12, and 21. That was the tap because of the length of the animation. Once I went over to tap pulse beam, I went 12, 12, 33, and then 33 for ticks for the longer duration. The longer the animation, the more power you get. Now that's for players who like to use weapons. If you like to use weapons, it's there. If you don't, here's the other flip side. For players who want to use just Trey abilities, they will have a self-power heal that they can use to regen power, which also goes by a percentage of your max power pool. The new power regen with weapons and the self-power heal do not benefit from the vitalization stat. In order to better your power regen, I would think you'll be speccing into the power stat. Would be where you want to go, although not enough really testing has, as of this recording, says to do so. I think it's a good guess, but I'll have to wait till the next round of testing to really see how that pans out. So, if you like to do weapon attacks, if you like to use your weapon as a hero or villain, you can use weapons to regen your power. There you go. If you are a player who likes to play just from the tray, you can use your self-power heal, and you can regen your power that way. If you like to do both, do both. Use your weapons and use your self-power regen. Call yourself a day. These two methods are about choices. And once we actually get Rage onto the picture to see how the combos work, I think I'm probably going to be... can't wait. Sorry. I know I'm going to use that self-power heal. I just know it. So, coming down here to the ability standardization. So, in this, abilities have been categorized differently by things like cost, cooldown, cast time, etc. Apparently, some abilities didn't have a category, but that's all changed now, because everyone has a place. Powers are still going to be unique, but things like a priority healing abilities are the same amongst all the powers in terms of range, cooldown, and etc. The more testing of potency of the heals to be determined. All right. Once we have another healing ability in there, we can actually see gauge on the amount of healing being done. Another thing that changed was role changing, where each ability did something different depending on the role. Now, some are still like that, but only where appropriate. So, and then lastly, there was some confusion on this part. So let me read what Avar said, and I'll even highlight it for you. This part right here. This is from Avar. There are no longer abilities that add power interactions and exploit them. While we reserve the right to do this in the future, most abilities now will either add or exploit power interactions. Definition. Currently, right on live, you have abilities that do both, add the PI and do the extra damage. In Revamp, abilities will do either or, not both. So you'll have one ability that will apply the PI, and then another ability will do the extra damage if it's on the target. All right, so we had the comfort of using one ability that will add the PI and also do extra damage as well. We can just keep using it. Now it's split. Now we have to do one ability and then another to do the extra damage. As an example, Arc Lightning, when shot, electrifies the enemies. Then I can use Overcharge on the target, and Overcharge will do extra damage to NPCs that are electrified. So these two powers work in tandem. Now there are also, I think actually the power interactions actually come in a little later, I believe, but I'll touch on that then. And nope, it does not. Okay, so I actually text about that right now. So some of the power interactions, this was where people were talking about the nerf. Again, it was on the mental side for power interactions, maybe even on ice. Maybe I was really relearning electricity during the testing, so a lot of this stuff was really coming new to me. It's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Oh, I don't have my drain, kind of like got nerfed to pick, can't use it in the healing role, but there's a lot of power interaction nerfing in players' eyes. But the nerf really, it feels like a nerf because yes, it's taken away from us, but it's being balanced across the board, where yes, you can't have one ability that does both, to add and exploit. Now you have to have an ability that will add the PI, and then you'll have another ability that will exploit. Now it feels like you're crowding up your loadout, but on electricity, I remember that we had electrified and polarized. Those are the two power interactions. There's more electrified that I saw from the powers than there are polarized. So I think currently on live you can possibly no, you can't really do both electrify and polarize. You still have to choose either or. But in this aspect, it's really hard to even really figure it out on paper. It's better just to get your hands on it. It's really just better. And at the same time, electrified enemies might do more damage than polarized, or polarized might do more than electrified. That actually sounds probably like a bug. I think they should probably do equal, maybe. But that's stuff that we have to test when the test server comes back. But I don't really see the PIs being too much of a nerf. I think it's just, like the word says, standardization. It's been standardized. That's what's happening right now. These are changes that, yes, we did not ask for, but these are changes that has to be. And don't worry, you will be fine once everyone just takes a breather. Alright, so next is the NPC stats update. So as expected, NPC stats have been adjusted to allow for smoother progression in combat. With these changes, it's to make the group work more together through mechanics, instead of just burning through the bosses. So you're really forcing you to really work as a group. Also, the one-shots are kind of going away. Kinda. I mean, it even says right here, we are looking to avoid one-shots almost entirely. So, those might be going away. Currently on test, while we're doing the test, we have to, if anyone is still doing one shots, we have to report it. And then finally, the combo counter has changed, where not only weapon attacks increase the counter, but abilities will do so as well. Combo powers for the win! And the counter will also not impact power generation. So, my question for that is, what's the point of the combo counter? I mean, we all remember the combo counter. Once you get past 10, you'll have your power regen will start to come a little faster. What's the point of the counter now besides just seeing a giant number that's just going to be up there in your face? And it's like, hey, that's your combos. That's how many combos you're doing, bro. Just loading it up. So I think the combo counter is probably just for shows, just to be there, because it's not doing any more power generation. I'm not really seeing the point of it. I'm not saying take it away. Don't take it away. Don't take it away, because I'll miss it. But just the fact that, hey, it's... good God, y'all. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing? I don't know. Now, there was another thread talking about the stats that another systems designer, Moja, posted. I'm still trying to break that down because there were some... I'll even show you guys. Let me show you guys what it was. I have it here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Yeah. So this is the stats and the progression. So I'll talk about this a little bit. So stats, what do? Well, they've broken it down for the most part. So they've always done the same thing, like, restoration will increase healing, vitalization increases power healing, precision and weapon DPS increase your weapon damage. So, but there's some nuances now, some new changes. So again, we all know precision and weapon DPS will increase weapon attack damage. Okay, might now increases damage of all superpowers, including combo powers. While this won't be important for this preview, it will be important soon. AKA, it's not important right now for this first phase of testing that we just completed, but it'll be coming soon. AKA, Hard Light, Celestial, Rage, and Atomic. Come on down. Next is Power. As we talked about before, is now a very important stat to allow you to continue casting. If you're using your self-power heal and still constantly feel drained, it's definitely worth investing in this stat. The more expensive your abilities, the more power you'll want. For optimal performance, you'll want to mix a power and your respective DPS or healing stat, might restoration. Wait, I want to make sure I understood that. For optimal performance, you'll want a mix of power and your respective DPS or healing stat. Okay, so... okay. I feel like restoration is going to be part of the power healing as well. I'll have to talk to Moja about that when we open up for the next testing. I'll have to keep an eye on that. Next is defense and toughness. We've adjusted the formula for these to remove the defense cap. There you go, folks. Defense cap gone. Yay. Defense and toughness now have a very predictable impact on your effective health. 10% more defense equals 10% more effective health. I'm gonna wait for some theory crafters to come about and do some math for me, aka Chill Cat, I need you. And finally, dominance now has a considerably stronger impact on shields. Restoration still improves shields, but for the best results, you'll want to focus on dominance. So that does bring that in, and especially the might and precision changes do really bring out some, hey, we've already spec'd our generators, we've already made some mods, now we have to remod again. Because of these changes, a lot of players feel like they should get some free recovery kits from it. I kind of half agree, half not. as someone who only really makes betas, it doesn't really. I definitely see where people want to get the recovery kits because this is really changing how their powers are. I think maybe as a courtesy, I would give 2 recovery kits to each account. Maybe not each player, but 2 recovery kits to get their mods back. As a freebies, as freebies for the Stats Revamp, give 2 recovery kits to each character, I guess. Not tradable. And so people can go ahead and respect their stats wherever they need to go. Now, where do babies' stats come from? Cute, Moja. That was really cute. So this is what was really the confusing part for me was this chart. So this chart here is talking about the stat source, where your stats come from, and how much they weigh upon you as a player. Okay, so I wish I could show this in like basic percentages, but I didn't ask for approval to show that, but someone else can do it. Or at least put it on the comments or whatever. But you're looking at you will get the majority of your stats from your gear. All right, majority of your stats will come from your complete gear. Your skill points will be there as well. I'm really wanting to put them in percentages, but it's like this is like some weird dev math, okay? This is like that weird dev lock math. This is what this is. So it's really weird to even say it. So, but I know a lot of questions will come from this, where people are going to look at your skill point stats and compare them to your gear mods and your generator mods. So your gear mods is basically your stats. It's 2% of your stats will come from your mods, and it's going to come from all 10 pieces. So 2 times 10, 20. It's not, and I guess I can go with 20%, I guess. But so your gear mods and your generator mods, again, 4 mods, that equals up to the same weight as your skill points. So if you're pretty low on your skill points, but you have your generator mods and your gear mods, you're almost kind of evening it out a bit. Almost, but not a lot. But so skill points and mods do weigh the same, but you have to really be fully modded with your gear. And then, of course, the socket affinity bonus. There's 10 of them. I'm not even sure how that ratio even works out, Leo. And then, of course, the trinket and the consumable buffs. So this right here is showing that stats matter. Your stats will come from your gear, then it will come from your skill points, your base character stats, which is basically, that right there is what you're naked. It's basically what you are. And then you got your mods, the socket affinity bonuses, trinket, and consumable. So, as an example right here, overall this means mods and generator mods and skill points will have a larger impact on your stats, while equipped gear and active buffs will have a reduced impact. Weird dev math, just weird. What this basically means in this example, in this sentence here, so a player at CR 100 with very high skill points and full mods will be maybe stronger than a player at 120 with lower skill points and no mods. Okay, so combat rating differential is gone. It's no longer the king. So you're going to have to pay attention to your stats and go out there and beat some feats. Ooh. Now, primary source of crit is from your skill points. That's no doubt. Now, I want to put this out and put this in this important section here. Is like outside of the elite content, we do not expect players to be completely maxed out in the best gear, best mods, and max skill points for their level. As a rough guideline, try to keep up with your mods and keep your skill points close to your CR. Super Patriot has multiple times always said throughout the source cast, everywhere, as long as your skill points match your CR, you are fine. Boom. Right there. I mean, I may be at CR 186 with the 149 skill points, you know, but I make up for it because I'm adorable. I make up for it. I'm cool like that. So, and now here with the rolls. So, with the removal of AMs and with the advanced mechanics and the weapon mechanics and other stat adjustments, rolls should now be significantly closer to each other in damage. While healers, controllers, and tanks should be still focusing on healing, controlling, and tanking first, they also now play a major part in defeating encounters quickly. Hybrid builds, everyone loves those words, should now be a viable option, and solo content should no longer be a slog for anyone who focuses on non-damage rolls. So all those duos that you walk in with a tank or a healer, it's not going to matter because they're going to still do great damage. Or they're going to do okay damage. Because remember, deep damage players are still the kings of damage. But the difference between the damage each role can do is significantly less. And the benefits of having the other roles is arguably significantly more. So here's a tip. Bring more non-damage roles to your fights and watch them own it. That right there. Z-snap formation. I am not black enough to do that. I am sorry if I offended anyone. Damn it. So, in a nutshell, that is your stats revamp. That is the philosophy and overview from Avar, and then Moja gave us the stat and progression breakdown in this thread. All the other threads maybe are locked because the testing is done right now, but they're all there for you to read and check out the feedback. Players really only got to tier 3 content. I'm not sure how far developed they really got into it, but at least they got somewhere. At least they got somewhere. So, whenever they open up a next round of testing, which I hope they bring in some more powers, or I'm really interested to see how the next round of testing goes, because there's going to be a lot of changes. A lot of changes. So, if you guys have any questions about anything, please leave a comment section below, and I will try my best to answer and get back to you. And I want to thank you all so much for watching, and be sure to check out the rest of my stats revamp videos, including my electricity playthrough. I only got to level 27, but at least I recorded my entire way through, so you can at least see what happened on that first day of testing, and how the leveling process is going to go with the powers. It does get confusing with the loadouts, but that's what YouTube and the other fan sites are for. We're here to help. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.